control. Breach in 5, 4, 3.
What's up, guys? I'm Uncle Freedom, coming to you on another glorious and well-deserved day off. And today we're going to look at another part of the Minutemen Layout series, and that is your gloves. So go ahead and like, subscribe, tell a friend. The channel's growing. It's amazing. I am really excited about where we're going. If you're looking to get in touch with me, it's at Uncle Freedom 213 on Facebook or Instagram, or Uncle Freedom 213 at outlook.com. So why are gloves important? Well, I mean, all the way back to the early 2000s, you were issued a pair of black leather work gloves and inserts. And all of us actually ended up wearing Mechanix gloves because gloves have this really awesome thing they do, which is protect your hands. Because if you've ever cut your hands up, it hurts. And then if you start trying to do things like manipulate a safety on an AR or load magazines, you end up chewing things up worse. It hurts and it impacts your ability to do that effectively. Easy, cheap insurance for that is gloves. Even as a firearms person on the range, when we shoot steel and move it around, there is lead dust all over that now, and you end up with that crap in your pores. Same deal with like stickers and things like that. Not to mention there are just things in this world that we don't want to touch because, as I've previously stated, if it is wet and sticky and not yours, don't touch it unless you don't have a choice. So, gloves. There are a ton of options on the market for gloves. Probably the most common and well-known glove is this guy. So this is the Mechanix Wear basic original glove. So what you end up with these is you have kind of a 3D mesh backer here. You have a synthetic leather palm. These are plenty durable for most things. They'll set you back 20 to 25 bucks a pair. Sometimes you can find them cheaper. You get reinforcement on the thumb here where you would operate the safety, but they leave some things on the table. And one of those things is if you are ever exposed to high heat or flame, this will become a part of your skin because it will melt to your ass. And that is a terrible day. But they are useful for most things. One of the things we talk about when it comes to knives and trigger guards and stuff like that is, can we manipulate those things with gloves on? Because even when it's hot outside, I wear gloves. And like I said, I have a long past with Mechanix where I really like these gloves. They're kind of the standard because they're inexpensive. You can destroy them. And that's one of the places they don't really do well, is because they are kind of fragile. Like, these will tear up. If you run these hard, if you get 6 months out of them, you're doing okay. But looking at it, I mean, why do you use gloves as a gun guy? I mean, handling hot rifles in an extended firing schedule, the gun just being hot because it's been in the sun, moving branches out of the way, setting up fighting positions. Gloves are important. Much the same way I harp on people to buy better socks, buying a good pair of gloves can just prevent your life from sucking a lot. So the main use of these guys is going to be protection. The other use for these is it camouflages your hands. So that's good news. But some of the places these lack, though, is you do lose fine dexterity in your fingertips. Sometimes you can't operate a touchscreen device, though you don't really see that with Mechanix gloves themselves. And it can really compromise your grip with a handgun, because your grip on a handgun is literally built off of the friction between both of your hands holding onto it. And if I suddenly alter how far away I am from that, I don't get the same grip and I can't shoot as well. So I will typically not run gloves when I'm running a handgun, though there are some that I can do it with. I'm just aware of the limitations in my shooting with those gloves on. Typically, if I'm shooting competitions or something with a handgun, I use liquid chalk because I get better grip. My hands don't sweat on the stuff, but that's a place where gloves really shine. And as a Minuteman, it is an essential piece of your kit. Like, overly essential. You need gloves, and you don't really need just one. You need a few pairs. So when people talk about gloves, kind of the most famous gloves on the market are going to be the Mechanix wear, and then followed very closely by the pig gloves from SKD Tactical. I have owned several pairs of the pig gloves. I do like them. My problem with pig gloves is they are, while they are super tactile and I can feel everything, they are very, very, very not durable. They tear up. They do not last as long as the standard Mechanix glove, and they cost more than these. So if I'm going to pick, I don't really run the pigs. I do like the Mechanix wear gloves. But, you know, something like this sets you back. When we talk about gloves, you can spend anywhere from about $20 to get into a set of these to $120 to $150, depending on the kind of glove that you buy. But for me personally, once I step above that $30 price point, $35, I'm expecting my gloves to do a lot for me. I'm expecting them not to wreck themselves in a 1-week field operation the way some of them will. But this is a good starting point for most people. Now, the next step up from that is usually these guys, and that is the Mechanix gloves, but these are known as the Impact. Now, the Impact is done based on the fact that you have some gel palm here, so it's a little bit, it takes away some vibration. You have a rubberized, like thermoplastic rubber coated synthetic palm here, but you also have rubber guards on your knuckle and the back of your fingers so that if you hit things with it on accident, you don't break your hand. Super useful, but a place where these fall really short is this creates resistance when I do this because it's stretching that rubber, so it wants to naturally pull my hand apart, which can impact your grip. It can also fatigue your hands a little bit. So I tend not to run the Impact version of a glove. So, but these are an option. These are in the mid 30s. We look at those. So another company that's kind of become hot to trot, and I've been through several pairs of them, is Victos. And these are known as the Operatus gloves. I will say that I can take these gloves and I can run a handgun wearing these and do almost as well as I can without it. And that is a function of the fact that these are super, super, super thin. They don't have a problem running a touchscreen. You see the perforated thing, but this isn't a leather or even really a synthetic leather. It's a fabric. I do have a foam knuckle on the back of these. These are very lightweight. Like I can feel the wind come through the gloves when I do this. But these are not durable at all. These are about $20 to $30 a pair. And I will absolutely tell you, if you like these gloves, have 5 pairs of them because these are not going to last long at all. But like I said, depending on what you use them for, they can be good. With a handgun, these will work. But I will tell you that shooting a rifle, these do nothing to mitigate the heat coming off of an incredibly hot rifle from a long firing schedule. Which brings me to kind of the next glove. And the reason this glove is even on my docket right now is because Grand Thumb was wearing them and everybody's like, what gloves are those? Well, here you go. So I'm a big time outdoor research fan, and these are the Outdoor Research Ironside gloves. So synthetic leather palm. I do have a goat skin on the tips here, so I can use these with touchscreen, so I don't lose out on that. I have reinforcement here, but I have some rubber on the back that doesn't do very much. I have a little rubber on this finger that also doesn't do very much. But these have a very sticky feel, like wide receiver gloves. Even on cardboard, like they stick to your hand. Very, very nice. These are the ones that Grand Thumb was wearing in his recent videos that everybody wanted to know. Again, that's the Ironside glove from Outdoor Research. These will set you back about $35 or $40 a pair. Now, here's the thing. Once we start talking about Outdoor Research is a company that made their bones in the technical clothing market. You have seen lots of outdoor Outdoor Research clothing on this channel because that is my preferred jacket. This is an Outdoor Research Trail Mix Grid Fleece hoodie. I love this thing. And I'm also a huge, huge fan of their gloves. Not necessarily these, but a lot of their gloves. So moving from that, one of the things that we saw in the military, we got away, we were issued the black leather gloves with the inserts, and then we were issued, or then everybody went to Mechanix wear. And then somewhere in 2004, 2005, when we went to wearing Grandma's Couch camo, we were issued foliage green Aviator gloves, which were Nomex gauntlet style gloves that had very thin, very, very dexterous goat skin leather palms. These were amazing. because I could run a handgun in them. I could run rifles in them. If I got something happen and I was around flame, I didn't have to worry about melting it to my skin. They were super comfortable to wear. And that was kind of it. And a lot of the guys you'll see, like the gloves are cuffed over right here, so they get kind of baggy, but you'll see the fingertips cut off of them because that gives us the ability to have better tactile response on a trigger or on a safety. So you will see fingers cut off of them, but they were the best gloves ever. And they were my favorite style of gloves. But as things have evolved and moved on, I don't like that big cuff gauntlet, which led me to finding my favorite kinds of gloves. So next up from there, if you, let's say you're willing to spend 50 bucks on a pair of gloves, can't really go wrong with these guys. So these are the Blackhawk Aviator Commando gloves. So what I end up with the Aviator Commando gloves, and I've had these for about a year and a half, is I have Nomex backing on here, so I have that flame resistance. I have goat skin across my knuckles, goat skin on the top of my fingers, goat skin on my palm, reinforced goat skin on the web of my thumb. I have the ability to cut these down so that I can get better fingertip dexterity without unraveling the gloves. I can use touch screens with these without a problem. They're short cuffed so that I don't have to worry about them going up and under stuff. These are amazing gloves. Really like these. These will set you back about 50 bucks a pair. These are about a year and a half old, and they have done very well. You can see here where this whip stitch is done here. That is actually done so you can cut this finger off without this unraveling, which is really cool. I will say, in the realm of a glove, this solved a lot of problems for me. This is very comfortable. I have very tactile response to anything I touch. I can operate rifles very well to them. If I'm in an environment and I'm exposed to flame, it won't melt to me. They're also great for handling sharp objects, stuff at the range. And I don't have to worry about scoring up or cutting up my hands on accident, even picking up brass off the ground. I don't know if anybody's ever done this, but you go to pick up brass and you catch sand burrs into your cuticles. Oh, it sucks. These eliminate that, and I really, really like that. These are really solid gloves, and they'll set you back about 50 to 60 bucks a pair. I have multiple pairs of them. They're amazing, but these still weren't the best thing on the market. One day, I'm perusing outdoor research, and I come across these gloves. So these gloves are known as the Outdoor Research Suppressor Glove. These fit incredibly tight to your hands. I have goat skin here. I have reinforced goat skin here on my palm. I have a padded goat skin knuckle. Same Nomex fire resistant material on the back. I can't use these with a touch screen, which is kind of a pitfall of them, but these are amazing. Huge pull tab on the bottom. And these are USA made because these are military issued gloves. These are fan-freaking-tastic. This is the Outdoor Research Suppressor Glove. This is my favorite glove. I have 5 pairs of these. This is the pair that I have been running for about 6 months. I love these. These stay strapped onto my backpack. I use these on the range all the time. They smell amazing because of the goat skin. They are exceptionally good gloves, but they are very expensive. This represents kind of the top of the heap. So now we're talking $120 to $150 for a pair of USA made gloves. However, Outdoor Research does make a version of the suppressor glove that is not that expensive, and it is known as the suppressor sensor. So that is one of these guys here. These are for work. This is a brand new pair that just came in. So with these, I still have the foam goatskin knuckles. I have the goatskin palms, the same great fit and feel that I'm used to. All of the reinforcement in the same places, except now I can run a touchscreen with these, which is super important because I run a touchscreen phone and a touchscreen computer at work. These are great. And I think right now you can get these for like 40 or 50 bucks on Outdoor Research's website. They are exceptionally well made. And to me, when it came to gloves, after trying a ton of stuff over the years, the Aviator style glove with the Nomex backing and the goatskin palm, absolutely the best thing I've ever done for myself as a guy that shoots guns, a guy that works on ranges, and a guy that teaches. These are about as good as it gets. So outside of that, it's wintertime. We all need a actual warmer glove that we could still use if we had to shoot with it. And there are 3 that I have tried and 3 that I like. The first one would be the Mechanix insulated gloves. So it's the CW insulated. They are just about as thin as the normal Mechanix gloves, but they have a little bit of insulation and they seem to cut the wind pretty well. The Victos Warlock insulated, I have a pair of those. They get a little cold on the palms, but the back is insulated enough that the wind doesn't cut through them. They're very dexterous. I can run touch screens with them, all that stuff, and I can still shoot with them, and they're nice. But the new version that I've looked at for these is actually these guys here. These are the Outdoor Research Cold Shot Sensor Gloves. So I have windproof, water resistant, moisture wicking material. It's the ballistic nylon on the back so that it cuts wind and water. I have goat skin on my fingers, goat skin on my thumb, and I have a synthetic leather palm that is incredibly tough. These are fantastic for what they are. These are going to set you back about $65 or $70 a pair. But when it comes to gloves like this, especially outdoor research stuff, you have something known as the infinity guarantee, which means for the life of the product, it won't destroy itself. Spend a little money now, get a better pair of gloves that you can wear for a longer time. If you told me tomorrow that I could only have one pair of gloves, it would be the Outdoor Research Suppressor. Best gloves I've ever run in my entire life. I absolutely adore them. And as I've said, that aviator style with the Nomex and the leather palms, by far my favorite kind of gloves. If you're on a budget, you need to do it a little cheaper. The Blackhawk Aviator Commando is great. Blackhawk also makes one called the Solag that has a padded armored knuckle on it. Those are really, really cool as well, though they're going to set you back about $110 a pair unless you can find them on sale. And then if you need a thinner glove, the Outdoor Research Ironside is really good, but I will also tell you Outdoor Research makes two designated range gloves. The first of which is very akin to the original Mechanix glove. It's called the Range Glove. And then they have a Range HD glove that actually has a reinforced palm, reinforcement all over it. Exceptional gloves. But gloves are a super important part of everything we do. And I will give you this as a pro tip. So, as law enforcement, I may be wearing this glove. So let's just say this is what I'm wearing because we are doing a raid on a house. So I have this glove on and I've got my rifle out. But during the course of this raid, now we're going to start searching or something like that, or somebody was wounded and now we have to work on them. I do not want your gooey stickiness on my really super awesome, sexy gloves. So what I will do is I will wear nitrile gloves. I'll wear a pair of nitrile gloves underneath these. And once the raid is done, I will peel these off and I will be just wearing nitrile gloves so that I'm not making contact with anything I find, fentanyl, whatever, or nasty people, because that's a part of it. Same deal. If we arrest you and we get done with it, I'll pull these off, clip them back onto my vest, and I'll wear my nitrile gloves while I search you. Nitrile gloves underneath your really nice gloves is a good way to save your super nice gloves and ensure that the gooey stickiness that isn't yours doesn't get and ruin your gloves. So guys, gloves are important, whether you've thought about them before or not. And if this video served the purpose to just make you question the fact that you thought this was the pinnacle, and then you saw Grand Thumb wear this and you were like, that's really cool. But now knowing that things like this exist and how good they are for what you're getting, I'd look into getting yourself at least a couple of pairs of super high-end, very nice gloves that you can count on to keep your hands protected in this scenario. So guys, I am Uncle Freedom. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Hopefully you found this informative, and I'll see you later.